everybody, it's Michelle Osborne. I am back again for another webinar. I am the project coordinator for Community Learning and Action Initiative. I'm also the communications and program development coordinator for Quebec City Reading Council. So this month in April is all about digital literacy and entrepreneurship. And I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite topics. Why? Because there are so many entrepreneurs, small business owners that have no idea about social media and digital literacy. They have no idea where they're supposed to go for information. They don't know what information to follow. And specifically in Quebec City, where you are an English speaker and sometimes we have that language barrier challenges, I'm here to tell you that running your own small business or working remotely is a very good option. If you saw my last presentation about finding remote jobs online, I think that a lot of the times when we live in Quebec City and we have that language barrier challenges, we think that we have to go to a 9-to-5 job, but we don't. Think about it. Think about entrepreneurship, what you can do from home, whether it's working for yourself or for a company. Anyways, before we continue, like I said, April is all about entrepreneurship. Today, we are doing the best social media platforms for your business. And one of my favorite topics. I can't wait to get into it. April 16th is the ethical use of digital resources. On April 23rd, ooh, another good one. How to build a strong brand, personal brand, everything you need to know. It's really going to be a good one if you own your own small business or if you're an entrepreneur or you're thinking about being one. April 30th, I have a special guest coming in to talk live about branding and your small business. And then I'm also going to have an encore presentation that evening in person. If you want to come in person and you don't like to do the webinars or you feel it's more beneficial for you in person, we're going to have one of those. So that is April. Everything is online at qcrc.org or communitylearninginaction.org. You can find it all there. Okay, let's get into it. So today we are talking about how to find the best social media platform for your business. And if I can find my presentation, we could get started. Okay, here it is. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, we're all online. We're all ready to go. We got pen and paper in hand. Good, boom, here we go. Best social media platforms for your small business. And if you are in a small business or want to start your small business, or if you're an entrepreneur, I hope you find this presentation beneficial to you. So what we're going to talk about today, first we're just going to do a very basic, what is social media, the benefits of social media, popular social media platforms. So that number 3 is the meat of this presentation. I'm going to talk about the most popular ones and the ones that you should be on, okay? Defining your target audience, defining your message. I'm going to talk about these two a lot because a lot of people don't know who their audience is. I can't tell you how many times I sit with a client and I say, okay, who's your target audience? That are just like, oh, you know, anybody who wants my product. That is not a target audience. You really have to define it if you want to do well in your business. Then number 6, the basic steps to start your social media platforms and how to get on. Best practice, and we're talking quickly about analytics. So let's go to the first one here. What is social media? Very simply put, the social part is about the information that you share with people, interacting with them, and then the media is the instrument of communication, for example, your internet. So basically, social media are web-based applications that allow people to interact with each other online, right? Simple enough. We all know what social media is right now. But one of the things that people do not understand is the difference between media and the networking piece. So remember, the media is the actual information that you are sharing, whether it's an article or a video or a GIF, which are my favorite. I love GIFs. And the networking piece is your audience. So when people say social media and social networking, a lot of times people use them interchangeably, and they are not the same thing. So that is just something to quickly keep in mind. So we're going to talk about the benefits of social media. And before I talk about that, one of the things I want to say that when you get into business, or if you are in business, the two things you should really focus on is passion. Do something you are passionate about. Don't do something just because someone said you can make a lot of money. Because if you are not passionate about it, you will not keep going, okay? Business is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So if you don't have the chutzpah, the guts to keep going for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then running your own business, whether it's small or large or whatever, is not for you. If you try one thing and it doesn't work, you can't say, okay, that doesn't work. It's not working. I'm going to move on. That's not business. You have to realize it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. So first you got to find your passion, do something that you love. And then second, find a solution to a problem. It's one of the best ways to build a small business, okay? When you're finding solutions for people, people will come to you because they need the solution, right? So think about that when you're building on that. So let's talk about the benefits of social media and why it's important, okay? Benefits, of course, you gain valuable customer insights. What does that mean is that all of the data you can find on social media platforms today, especially Facebook analytics. If you have a small business, you should be on Facebook, and I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit more later, but you should also use their analytics to see who is engaging with you, first of all, and number two, what are they engaging with? Do they like your videos? Do they like your how-tos? You really have to pay attention to that, and we're going to get into that in a little bit more. Number two, increase your brand awareness and loyalty. So when you have a presence, a consistent presence, people are more likely to be loyal to you and engage with you. 53%, listen to this statistic, 53% of people who follow brands are more loyal to brands and who they will buy from you. So one of the big words I'm going to use when you use social media or any type of communication tool is consistency. Write it down. I don't know where you need to write it down. Write it down somewhere. Because if you post once, I don't know, every other week, and maybe it's on a Tuesday and maybe it's on a Thursday, or maybe, oh, you're busy for 3 weeks and then you don't post for the 4th week, people cannot connect with you. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the presentation, but you need to figure out a schedule where you are going to post, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Figure out what your schedule is and stick with it and be consistent, or your client base will not stay. Remember that. Number 3, you can run targeted ads. So if you run an ad on LinkedIn, if you run an ad on Facebook, you can target the location and the demographics and the interests and the behaviors of people. We could not do this before. Isn't this so exciting? I love social media for this, because before it was only the big wigs, the big organizations that could afford to pay for communications, and now everybody has a shot. Remember that. Everybody has a shot. Number 4, generate higher converting leads. What does that mean? Is that the more you engage with your customers, the more you do your sales, you have a higher customer retention base. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Number 6, increasing your website traffic and searching ranks. So now 60% of people who go on social media go for customer service. So if you have a problem with WestJet or a clothing brand and you got a faulty product from somewhere, 67% of people are now going to social media to talk about, why did I not get on my flight? Why were my clothes sent to me ruined? Remember that when you are running your business, because people expect for you to respond in a timely manner. And I'm not talking 2-3 days, less than 24 hours. People are now expecting you to respond, to resolve a problem, or get feedback on a question that they ask. Number 7, find out what your competitors are doing. Okay, I'm going to talk about this for just a minute here because it's really important. I had a conversation with someone the other day about competitors, and I said, make sure you're following your competitors on social media. And they said, why? I don't care about my competitors, and I don't want them to know what I'm doing. Are you nutso? Okay, I'm going to say that again. Are you crazy? Your competitors should be your best friends online. You need to know what they're doing. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later, but if you think that you should not know who your competitors are, or that you should not be on their social media platforms, or that you should not engage with them, then you have been giving the wrong advice in business. Everybody should know who their competitors are. Everybody's competitors should be your best friend. Number 8, share your content faster and easier. Of course, that's the benefit of social media. Geo-target content. Oh, isn't it funny when you're in Starbucks one day and then you go back to the office and then it was saying, how was Starbucks? Do you like Starbucks? Or maybe you were somewhere talking about going on vacation or something, and all of a sudden you're on Facebook and you have all of these ads talking about vacation in Mexico. That is geo-targeting, and it is so, so smart, I have to tell you. And build relationships, engage with people. Don't forget, social media is social. Okay, so many people start social media accounts and they just post their product and post who I am and I'm so great and you're gonna, it doesn't work that way. You have to engage with other people regularly. And I'm gonna give you a rule about that later in this presentation, because if you do not engage with other people, if you do not share other people's content, how do you build your client base? How do you get other people interested in you? How do you collaborate with people and do different things? It's really important that you do that, okay? So we are moving on, and before you start, are you a B2B or B2C business? Okay, what is B2B? A business that sells to a business, or are you a business that sells to a consumer? You need to think about which one you are before you start your business. Absolutely. Who is your target audience? Ooh, I love this one. It's so juicy. What's their age? What's their gender? What's their location? What's their hobbies? You need to know who your target audience is before you go on any social media, before you start any communication plan. You need to know who your target audience is, especially with social media. And what is your overall goal? I want to say, unless you have a big team of people who can monitor your social media platforms for you, stick to 2 or 3 maximum, because they are a lot of work. And you're going to see as we go through this presentation why they are a lot of work and why they require your attention. If you have a long sales cycle, so if it takes you a long time to make sales, like your sale process starts from January and it ends in December, it's very difficult to make money on social media. So remember that for people who have long sales cycles. And it's recommended that you spend at least 6 hours a week monitoring, posting, and responding alone on your social media platform. Did you think it was that often? Yes, you got to plan, you got to engage, you have to be present. And that's why we say, if you're a small business, don't do more than 3 social media platforms. A lot of people think they have to be on every social media platform because they see everybody else on every social media platform. So I'm going to say 2 things about that. One of the reasons why there are companies that are on every social media platform is because they are big companies and they have a team who can run the social media platforms. That's number 1. Number 2, small businesses that are on every social media platform usually fail because they can't keep up. They can't be consistent. They can't engage with their audience appropriately because there's too much work to do. They still have to run their business. So one of the things about social media is be smart. Know who your audience is so you pick the right platforms accordingly. Woo! I love this day. Before you start, this is just a little infographic to show you January 2019 about digital around the world and who is using it. Look at all of us on social media. 7.6 billion understand the uses of global mobile internet and social media use, which means you have a big audience to get to know, okay? Put time into it. I'm gonna say this. A lot of people like the fun stuff. They like the fancy and the color and branding and my heart's gonna be blue this time. And okay, that's really great and wonderful. But if you haven't done the homework, none of that is going to work. Make sure you do the homework, okay? And it doesn't have to be 10 hours on a Sunday, okay? Let's talk about our social media platform. So this is the meat of it all. This is the meat. I'm just gonna shove this over here. Okay, so we have 2.8 billion active social media users worldwide. And look at that. At least 28% of them are on one social media site. How many social media sites are you on? I know for me, I'm probably on I would say 2 consistently, sometimes 3. So when you are thinking about who your audience is, you got to know where they are hanging out because they're not hanging out on all of them. I'm not hanging out on all of them. You know, for example, Twitter for me is not my social media platform. It's not one that I resonate with, and so I'm rarely on it. But Instagram, I love Instagram. And I find that a lot of people that I connect with are there. So know who your audience is so you know where to be. Okay, let's start. We have Facebook here. Okay, who doesn't know Facebook, right? We all know Facebook. One of the things about Facebook is if you are a small business owner, you should be on Facebook. Yes, you should. You have 2.3 active monthly users, and it's mainly business to consumers in this social media platform. And let's take a look at the age groups here. You have ages 25 to 55, both men and women, a little bit more women than men. And at the end of Q3 in 2018, there were 2.27 active monthly Facebook users. This is your audience, people. This is why I try to say, find out who your audience is. But I always say this, if you are a small business, if you are any business owner, you should be on Facebook, even if it's not your primary source of activity when you are marketing. You need a Facebook business profile, okay? That's the end of the story. Don't argue with me. 75% of users at least spend 20 minutes or more on Facebook every day. Come on, let's be real. We probably think it's more. And at least 100 Facebook users have 155 friends. So that's the average. Why do you need a Facebook presence? Because it is the SEO hub. What does that mean? Is that search engines look at your business on the Facebook profile to see how they will spit out, rank you in terms of when you're on Google, who's going to be in touch with you, are you a favorite? That's why you need to be it. Facebook is the one that SEO targets the most. And if we just look at the graph quickly here, a lot of the Facebook users are in the average of, I would say 30 to 49,000, but 75% of Facebook users make over $75,000 a year. So you got a big chunk of people there that have a little bit of income. The top industries, fashion, auto, retail, and entertainment. So take a look at that when you are thinking about which one you think you should be in. Now we're going on next to Instagram, which is one of my favorite. I'm an IG lover. It's mainly best for business to consumers, not best for business to business, but travel and hospitality, fashion, you know, Instagram is very visual, picture heavy. Okay, so if you're going to be on Instagram, make sure you take great pictures. Now, I didn't say go out and buy a $2,000 camera or hire a photographer to take all your pictures. But when you do take your pictures, make sure they are clear, they are bright, they are interesting, and learn how to use, if you don't have the funds, free online photo editing apps. I use photo editing apps like it's going out of style. I probably have about 5 of them on my phone, because sometimes you're not in the right lighting or you want to cut something out of a picture. Learn how to use them, because if you're going to use Instagram, that's how people engage. That's how people like you. They love to see the photos. It's very photo heavy. I'm going to talk to you a little about storytelling on Instagram as well. I would tell you this, Instagram storytelling, and that's when you see the videos every day that pass by and they only sit there for 24 hours. It is taking over your posts in Instagram. So more people watch your stories now than they watch whatever picture you are posting in Instagram. And that percentage is getting higher. So I encourage you to Google storytelling, and I encourage you to understand it and learn it if that is your thing. And 53% of Instagram users follow brands. I'm sure that number is climbing every day. Okay, so next we are going to Pinterest. People don't know the power of Pinterest. I could literally do a presentation just on Pinterest, because it is the unsung hero, I swear to God. Mainly for women, but if you have a hobby, if you're a jewelry maker, if you're you do events, if you do remodeling, Pinterest is where you should be, really. And those people who go on Pinterest are referred by Pinterest are 10% more likely to make a purchase than those who are not on Pinterest. I can't tell you how many purchases or things that I've got from Pinterest alone that I've purchased, or an activity that I've done because of Pinterest. 250 million active monthly users. And one of the greatest things about Pinterest is that its pin life is huge. What the hell, Michelle, do you mean by pin life? This is what I mean. When you post something or pin something on Pinterest, the average lifetime is 200,000 minutes. That means that's how long it stays on Pinterest. 24 minutes for a tweet on Twitter and 90 minutes for a Facebook post. Pinterest is 151,000 minutes. So people are getting to see it for longer, which means there are more people who have access to it. Definitely, I know Pinterest is mostly women, but if you are selling a visual product or service, you should be on Pinterest. We'll go to YouTube. YouTube is great for either business to business or business to consumer. Of course, we've seen the beauty videos and the how-tos on YouTube, which we all love. The only challenge with YouTube is that it's not the easiest platform, okay? So if you compare YouTube to a blog, let's say, the amount of work and time you have to put into YouTube is a lot, because people want to see really great videos that are put together. We've all started from somewhere, where I've seen people who started with the worst videos in the world, and as they stuck with YouTube and learned their craft, now they have these amazing videos that I could only imagine to do. So although YouTube is a great platform, it is also a lot of work, which is why some people do not go there. But it's fairly even with men and women who go to that platform. And any type of business, you can make money on YouTube, but you got to stick with it. That's the thing. It is consistency, and it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. LinkedIn. Oh, LinkedIn. I like to talk about LinkedIn because people don't realize the power of LinkedIn, especially if you want to make business connections. So it's fairly equal between men and women who are on LinkedIn. And a lot of people who are on LinkedIn are business people who usually make $75,000 or more. And also interesting thing to know is that people on LinkedIn, a lot of them are not on other social media networks. Why, you ask, Michelle? Because they are business people who are too busy making money and they have no time to be on other social media platforms. They only want to be on LinkedIn so that they can make connections with other people. If you looked or took part of my last presentation on finding remote jobs online, I talked about LinkedIn and how important it was to have a LinkedIn profile and a good LinkedIn profile. I really encourage you to do that, to invest more into your LinkedIn, even if you're an entrepreneur or a small business, okay? And one of the things I want to say is that the audience in LinkedIn has 2 times the buying power of the average web audience. It's a powerful, powerful social media platform if you want to connect with people and do business, especially in the financial world, I have to say. And then we go to Twitter. Twitter is great for business to consumer and some B2B, but Twitter is really great for news and information and e-commerce. Both men and women are on Twitter. They're fairly equal there, but it's really a big place where people go for news and political topics. You only have 280 characters on Twitter though, so you have to be really concise with what you want to say. It's really great tool to resolve customer service issues too. So if you had a bad experience with a product or a service and you tweet about it, usually within the next couple of hours, you get a response from that company on how to resolve it. So Twitter is really good for that. But it doesn't have a lot of staying power. People don't stay on it for a long time in the day. So really know who your audience is and know what you're selling so you know which social media platform to be on. Defining your audience. I get this question all the time. Oh, who are they? What do they do? How much do they make? Do they have kids? Where do they shop? What are their hobbies? How do they like to be reached? Do they like to be reached via email, MailChimp, social media, Messenger? Are there influencers, which are people who people trust to sell a product and people admire them? These are the things you need to know about your client when you're on social media. And some people think because they're a small business or they're just an entrepreneur, they don't need to do this research or it's not a big deal for them. In fact, it is more important that when you are a small business or an entrepreneur, you know this stuff because you don't have the money like the big corporations or the team like big corporations to waste when you're trying to figure out who to market to. Listen to me, okay? You cannot be everything to everybody. As much as you think your jewelry is great and everyone's gonna wanna buy it, as much as you think your clothing is amazing and everyone in the world is gonna wanna buy it, not everybody wants to buy it. So the more you target into your niche, the more you target into your audience, the bigger your audience will be, the more money you make. A lot of people think if they target too much, they're not going to make any money. And, you know, I'm not going to reach the amount of people that I want to reach. Yes, it's the opposite. You don't want numbers. You want engagement. You want people to buy your stuff. Think about your Facebook page. Say you have 400 Facebook friends, okay? How many of those people really engage with you on a regular basis? Think about it. I'll wait for you to think about it. Really? So you have 400, maybe 50 engage with you on a regular basis, maybe not even that much. So think about that with your business. You can have a whole bunch of people who like your page, but it's only this many people who will engage and buy from you. And that is who you want to target. Get to know who they are. How do you find your audience? I get this question a lot of the time too. Because people are just like, I don't know where they are. How do I find out where they are? This is the homework part you got to do, you got to do, you got to do. Check out your competitors. Remember I said that in, I think, the second slide or something? Who are your competitors? Find out who they are. Join their Facebook page, their Instagram, their Twitter, I don't care, whatever social media platform they are on, who are they? Because if they are your competitors, they also have your clients. Find out what they're not doing for their clients. Find out what they're not selling to their clients that their clients want. Find out their behaviors. Are they treating their clients well? Guess what? Maybe you can treat their clients better. And maybe you want to collaborate with your competitors. Absolutely. There is room for everybody in this business. Never think that, oh my gosh, I don't want to collaborate with someone because they're going to find out what I'm doing and they're going to know my secrets. Guess what? They're going to find out anyway. Because if they're a great competitor, they're following you and they're watching what you're doing. So guess what? You might as well collaborate with them and grow your audience through their audience and make more money. I can't stress that enough about competitors, okay? Look at your current customer base. Okay, so you have Cindy as a customer. Who's on her page? Who likes her stuff? If the stuff that she liking are her friends liking it, which means you have to find out what they like in order to see what other people like. Join other like-minded groups. A really good example of this, and I talk about this all the time. Say you're on a Facebook page, and your Facebook page is all about wellness, and you join other Facebook pages that are about wellness. Don't just join the page and hit join or like. I want you to join that page. And if you have to wait to be accepted or not, it doesn't matter. As soon as you get into that page, I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to say, hi, my name is Michelle. I run a jewelry business. I live in Quebec City. Thank you for having me join this page. Here's the link to my business. I hope that you will check it out. I would love to see other people's businesses too. Thank you, and I hope to connect with you all. Do it now. A lot of people just join Facebook pages, and guess what? If you're in an audience of 10,000 other people on a Facebook page who all want the same thing you do, there is your audience. I can't stress that enough. Your audience is right there. In fact, every day, I want you to spend at least 5 or 10 minutes looking at social media groups that have a connection to your business. Join them, introduce yourself, put up your link, and I will tell you your customer base will grow just through that alone, okay? Engage and collaborate with others. I mentioned this before, collaboration is key. You can't do it on your own. When you collaborate with other businesses, then their clients get to know you and they join your social media outlets because, hey, you're kind of doing the same thing, or there is a connection and they're interested. They didn't know about you before. Hey, and you got all through this through collaboration. Engage, 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 engage. Like I said before, some people join social media and they don't do anything. You have to engage in the groups that you're a part of. You have to engage with other people who are your competitors. You have to share people's posts, and they're just like, who is this Michelle girl who shares my posts once a week? I want to get to know her. When you engage regularly and people get to know you, that's when you grow your customer base and you find your target audience. This is good stuff, people. I hope you're listening in. And trial and error, okay? We all started somewhere. None of us are perfect, no matter how long you've been in this social media game, right? Social media is still fairly new. We think it's old, not old. It's fairly new, and it changes all the time. This information I might give you today might change next month, but I want to say this. Don't be afraid to get it wrong. Just regroup and start again. Don't give up, because this stuff, communications, changes so often that it's sometimes impossible to keep going. It's only the big corporations that have the team that can do the research all the time for you. So don't feel like you're failing. Educate yourself on a regular basis. Put it in your daily schedule. Put it in your schedule and say, for 30 minutes a day, I'm gonna learn something new about my Instagram account. For 30 minutes a day, I'm gonna learn something new on Wednesday about my Facebook account. Learn about it so you can be at the top of your game. Don't just join it and think you know everything. I don't know everything. I learn things all the time. I go to conferences, I take courses, I go online. I'm part of, different social media site providers that give me information that I can give to you, okay? So you gotta keep learning your craft. Don't just start and think it's over. Ooh, strategy, let's get started. Define your message when you are communicating with people. What are you trying to communicate? I need you to answer these questions. This is your homework, people. What am I trying to achieve by sending this message? How should this message be transmitted? Because not everyone in your audience likes it one way. How does your audience like it? Do they love Facebook? Do they love it by Messenger? Do they love it by MailChimp? You got to find out what they like. How can the message be transmitted easily or retransmitted easily? Are you just reposting people's things? What content or form will it take? Are you a link person? Are you a GIF person? Do you like to send videos? Is there a mixture? In fact, the mixture is great, but this is where the analysis comes in when you look back at the things that you share. I'll give Facebook for an example. When you have a Facebook business page, they have an analysis page that tells you who is engaging with what. And it will say 600 people engaged in this, and then another post, it will say only 2 people engaged in that. Pay attention to it, because if 600 people like videos and only 2 people like your GIFs, then where should you be spending your time? In your videos, right? Pay attention to it. And how often, this is when you're planning, okay? I'm gonna talk about planning a little bit later. How often should you be sending information? A lot of people are just like, I don't wanna send a lot of information because I'm spamming people, blah, blah, blah. Figure out your schedule and don't worry about spamming, because guess what? The people who want your stuff, your service, your product will appreciate what you said. Figure out how often they like it and what they like it. So let's talk about social media posting. How often you should be posting and what you should be posting. So this is going to surprise people, okay? Sorry, I'm just gonna take a little water here. I get so excited with this subject. Okay, social media posting. 80% should be to inform people, to educate people, to entertain people. Are you doing that? 80%. 20% should only be about promoting your brand. And you're like saying to Michelle, are you a not so crazy woman? Why am I only promoting my brand for 20% of the time? Because the 80% is all about building relationships, getting people to trust you, getting people to see you as the expert, making sure people know you as the professional in that service or product that what you're doing, because that is going to build your client base. Then you promote your brand. So many people do it the other way. They inundate them with buy this, buy this, buy this, and they get bored and they move on. There's only so much you can tell your audience to buy the necklace that you made. There's only so often you can do that. So make sure you're using information to inform them about your business or service or others people's businesses or service. Educate them on things. have fun with them, show your personality. People like to see what your everyday is like. You're walking and you're talking and you're like, hey, I'm getting ready for a speech that I'm doing and I'm telling you guys about it later. Remember this 80-20. There's another social media posting rule that I want you to know about, the rule of thirds. And you can choose the 80-20 rule, or you can choose the rule of thirds. So the first third is about promoting your business, converting readers, and generating profits. The second third is about sharing ideas and stories from industry leaders or like-minded businesses who are like you. And the other third is about personal interactions with your audience, okay? So remember this when you are posting. It is not all about you, okay? And I think a lot of small businesses especially think if they just keep throwing their product at people and don't engage and don't talk about anything else, and then they wonder why is nobody buying my stuff? Because you're not engaging with anybody. You're not engaging with your clients. You're not engaging with your competitors. You're not building relationships with your competitors. This social media business is big stuff, people. Where do we go from here after this whole spiel about social media platforms? I want you to go and find your market. Know who your audience is. Know who you're supposed to be selling to. What is their age? What is their gender? Do they have kids? What is their hobby? Go do that homework. Pick the most appropriate social media platforms for your audience. What do your competitors use? What social media platforms are your competitors on? Because they have your audience too. So if your competitor's on Instagram, you should be on Instagram. If your competitor is on Pinterest, you should be on Pinterest, because that is where especially if you look at competitors that have huge followings and they're making good money, you should be on the same platforms they are. But remember, you're a small business. If you only have yourself who's managing it, keep it to 2 or 3. Put your message in a way that people can understand what you're saying. Okay, if you're a conservative person and your audience is conservative, perfect. You should be speaking to them in a conservative way. If you're raunchy and crazy and that's what your audience is like, make sure you're speaking to your audience like that. Okay, you can't be conservative if your audience is crazy. You got to speak to your audience in the way that they understand and that they like to be spoken to. Make sure you build social media into your workflow, okay? Just like you put your budget into your workflow, anything to do with communications should be built into your workflow. And I think one of the things that people get so overwhelmed is they have this whole to-do list and they're like, oh my God, I got to do this and this and this and this and da, da, da. First of all, break it down into pieces. Don't look at your list of 100. Look at your list of 3 for the day and say, if I can get these 3 done today, it's a perfect day. And I want you to schedule it. Just like you schedule going to the gym for an hour at 5 o'clock. I want you to get your agenda and I want you to write from 10 to 11, I'm going to work on my Instagram account and that's all I'm going to do for my social media today. And then on Tuesday from 10 to 11, I'm going to work on my Facebook account. I'm going to engage with people. I'm going to think of I want you to schedule your social media. It's hugely important if you want it to be successful. Make sure you create snappy headlines and shareable content. Okay, you know, this is a big one for me. I see people, they post headlines and they're just like, this pink shirt. No, that is not going to work out. How about this shirt is the shirt of the season and here is why? That is a snappy headline, because I want to find out why that shirt is the shirt of the season. Get key influencers in your space and share. When you get bigger, and an influencer is like Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian now sells jeans for Levi's. She is influencing what she does and people trust her. Now, there's a lot more influencers than Kim Kardashian. I'm just using her as an example. But as your business grows, think about getting an influencer, someone in the public, and they don't have to be a big person in the public. They could be a smaller person in the public to help market your product or service. Engage with your audience, provide amazing customer service, because if you do not provide amazing customer service, it will come back to bite you in the butt. Promise, 100%. I can't stress it enough. But make sure you engage with your audience too, okay? One of the things I want to say about this is that when you post something and someone says a comment, please respond. Oh, Lordy, 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 please respond. The amount of people who I see who don't respond to their audience, or they respond 5 days later, they will not stick around as a client. Social media is social. They like to know that you're there and that you're responding to them and that you're meeting their needs. Make sure you engage with your audience. And then when all is said and done, at the end of the day, make sure you do your analysis, manage, measure, and improve. See what's going right, see what's going wrong, see where you can make the changes, but don't give up. It's a marathon, people. It's a marathon. Best practices: give more to customers than what is asked. They will always come back. Be entertaining with engagement, but not over the top, unless your audience likes it over the top. It depends on what product or service you're selling. Inspire your audience, talk and engage and converse. You know, I can't stress enough the social part of social media. They love to know that you're there. They love to know that you're engaged. They kind of feel like they're part of your family, and it's really important. Listen more to those who are talking about you. So if there's a competitor talking about you, if there is someone on your Facebook that's talking about you, see what they are saying, whether it's good or bad, and leverage from that conversation. Provide resourceful information to your audience. Your audience loves resources, and they will stick with you if you keep feeding them information that is useful to their lives. And keep an eye on your competition. Oh my gosh, I can't stress this enough. Competition should be your best friend. Don't stay away from them, be close to them, because they have the information that you want, and collaborating with them can grow your business hugely. And of course, number 7, be consistent. It is key. If you are gone for a long time, people will go elsewhere because there's a lot of elsewhere to go. So if you are not consistent with your posting, then your business will not be successful, and it will not survive. It's really simple as that. I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. Simple as that. So let's get organized. I talked about organizing and putting together a social media schedule and calendar. So here is an example that I've put on here for you, and you can make one yourself, but this is kind of an example. Your content calendar shows you on Sunday I'm going to post about humor, and then you give an example of what it is. On Monday, you're going to do motivational Mondays. Tuesday, you're going to really talk about whatever your product is, or the industry, or people, or whatever. So look at the content calendar to see how you can build yours, right? And then on the other side, you could say, okay, these are my social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. And then you're going to write what you are going to do for those days every day. I encourage you to take an hour. That's all it takes on a Sunday or Saturday, whatever day works best for you, to sit down and plan for at least a week or 2. A month is awesome if you have the time. But this should just be a part of your business, just like budgeting is a part of your business. Absolutely. You want to see your client base grow. You want to see your cha-cha-ching, your money grow. It's important to have a content calendar with what you want to talk about every day of the week, and then you post it on your social media platforms. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'm going to put it on Pinterest on Monday. But be consistent. okay? That's really key. Be consistent with it. And I would argue with people to say post every day. I'm not saying post 10 times a day, but in order for people to know that you're there, I would say post at least once a day. So here are just some of the analytic tools or platforms that you can get analytics from to see how your business is doing, okay? And this is an example of what one of them looks like. It tells you on the report your interactions, your incoming messages. It will also tell you your demographics. How many are men? How many are women? It will also tell you what people are engaging with the most. Is it your videos? Is it links? Is it shares from other things? So I really encourage you to diversify how you post, but also pay attention to what people like the most, because that is what you're going to want to do if your audience likes that the most, okay? So take a look at some of those online, just a food for thought for a couple of things. Behaviors consumers want from brands. So 86% honesty. Of course, they want to know that you're providing them with honest product and service, to be friendly and helpful. Politically correct, that's interesting. It's only at 39%, but take a look at that when you have time. Actions that make people unfollow a brand. Pay attention to this one because you don't want people to unfollow you. However, don't freak out if certain people unfollow you, because you know that sometimes you start following someone, they after a while don't resonate with you, and then you unfollow them and you want to move on. It's just life, you know. Life changes. When something no longer serves a purpose in your life, you change it or you move on, right? Same thing with social media. Now, if you're losing clients at a rapid pace, then you need to see what the problem is. There's a whole difference there, okay? Too many promotional messages. This is what I said earlier. When people are just throwing at you, this is my product, come see me. When you're doing that too much, people don't want to stay with you. They can't take it. They want you to have a diverse social media platforms with diverse information, whether it's, you know, from other experts that you love or information that you found online. They want to see diverse. So stop just promoting yourself, people. It's a big, big thing that people don't get. Information that's not relevant. Know your audience. This is a big thing here. Your audience will tell you what is relevant to them, which means that's what you should be posting. If you're posting cars, but your audience likes baby toys, then why are you posting cars? Right? That's all about knowing your audience. Look at 17.9%. You're too quiet. Or the 15%, they don't reply to me. Really, I think, you know what? These numbers are changing quite a lot. Consistency is key, and they want you to interact. Things that make people follow you on social media. Of course, they're interested in your service or product, so that's why they follow you. They like promotions. Google promotions and how you can build promotional things on Google. Oh my God, I could do a whole new webinar just on promotions and how to promote and when to time them and things like that. It's a learning process. It really is, but people like promotion. You know you like promotion. You know you like to go to Walmart and you see your thing at 50% off. You'll buy 2 of them instead of 1. It's the same thing online, okay? So think about that. Resources for social media management. These are my 3 favorite websites to go to talk about social media and that have social media management platforms. There's so many more out there, so don't think that these are the only ones. So I encourage you to Google social media management organizations, companies, platforms, and see which ones work best for you. These are just a few examples of social media news and updates. I encourage you to join at least 2 or 3, subscribe, because they will send you information on the trends that are going on in social media that will keep you up to date, so that you're always up to date and you look like you're the hot social media savvy person who knows it all. And I subscribe all the time to see what's new and improved. And I tell you, this industry changes so fast and so much. You want to join some of these organizations to find out what's going on. And even on the previous slide, let me just see here. Yes, these 3. Hootsuite. I get so much information from Hootsuite and Sprout Social. They are just like my hub of social media information that you want to be on. I am not special. Okay, I just subscribe to them, find out the information, I study, I learn, I go to conferences, I get information from other people, I buy them lunch, I say, let's talk, and you should be doing the same for your business. So remember, before you post, is it true, is it helpful, is it inspiring, is it necessary, and is it kind? Always remember those things. If you looked at my digital footprint webinar that I did, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, you have to have a positive digital footprint for people to take you seriously, for people to like you, and for people to want to work with you. So make sure you do a cleanup of your social media digital footprint, and you will be at the top of your game. I hope you learned something from this presentation today. Hey, thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Hey, thumbs up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Was it helpful to you? I hope it was helpful. This is going to be online at qcrc.org, as well as communitylearninginAction.org. This webinar will be there again for you. If I spoke too fast and you're just like, what the hell did she say? At this point, I need to rewind it. It'll all be there. And if you actually want a PDF copy of this presentation or any of the presentations that I have done, just email me, Michelle_Osborne at qcrc.org, and I will send it to you for free. What's better than free? Nothing's better than free. Have a great day, everybody. Go forth, be social media queens and kings, and make it happen for your business. Bye-bye.